2.0. I am so happy to be your hostess today and welcome into my metaverse space and podcast audio. Now, today we have a special topic and we're going to jump right into it right after we play a little bit of sounds and allow everyone to enter the room respectfully. I hope everyone's been having an awesome day. And I'll hop back in as soon as everyone acquaints themselves with the space. And I make sure that everyone has a seat here at the couch so that we can get prepared for today's discussion. Peace and blessings. Welcome back. I'm your hostess, ShivaLeela Allen, and today we have a read along here in the iDance Art House Web3 Metaverse space. And I'm so happy for you to be here. Today's book is Belly Dance Business 101, The Beginner's Guide to Being a Professional Belly Dancer. And this is by the amazing Helene Blondell. Helene Blondell is an award-winning belly dancer and singer with an extensive performance history on and off air. She has appeared on televised programs as both vocalist and dancer. With almost 2 decades of experience in the entertainment, Helen is the founder of the online wellness community, Belly Pop. Page 21, Get Your Foot in the Door. For most newly professional entertainers, getting work is the biggest hurdle to overcome. After all, the purpose of this guide is to assist in navigating your career as a belly dancer. Therefore, gigs are the most important part. But let me be clear when I say rejection is a norm, and having the drive to move that is imperative. Page 22. When I was just beginning the process of getting booked was so frustrating. I faced a lot of rejection when trying to get my foot in the door. The market was starting to become saturated at the time, and venues already had their preferred dancers. I had little to no reputation in comparison to other entertainers with a strong network. After copious attempts at trying the same thing and constantly getting "don't call us, we'll call you" replies and ignored emails in return, I eventually became exhausted. There was a period I stopped trying, but not for long. My love for this art form was too strong, and I soon found myself immersed in various activities and events that led me to where I am now as I write this. I took a completely different route than the first time. After all, the definition of insanity is doing something repeatedly and expecting different results. In this chapter, I'll be sharing the various actions that I took that helped me greatly in not only getting work, but also meeting amazing people in the community and learning a lot. It's important to realize that each artist has their own path that worked for me. What worked for me might not work for another dancer. However, here are the following steps one can take to highly increase the probability of getting booked based on my experience. Become an active member of a dance company. As mentioned before, the moment you decide to make a profit from your craft, you are now a business. In a business, having a network is key to its success. Keep in mind, Most of the steps I go over in this chapter are somehow linked to networking, and with dance, there is no exception. Aside from possible gig opportunities, join a dance company has an additional benefits. Regarding Regardless of how good you are, there is always something to learn along the way. Sometimes as soloists, we can go we can get so consumed in doing moves and interpreting music our own way, we run the risk of being one dimensional. In a group setting with a director calling the creative shots, you're suddenly exposed to a new way of doing things. When practicing next to 10 other people, it's easier to see the differences, yours and theirs too, and gain new perspectives on what you could add to your solo dance. Joining a professional troupe tests your resilience, character, and professionalism. In my singing and dancing career combined, I've been in several performance groups. While each is quite different, these three facts remain true for all. In a dance company, it is no longer just about you. It is about your equal contribution to the collective. There will be days you are expected to attend rehearsals when you simply don't want to, or moments where the director might seem strict and truly test your patience. And let's face it, long hours in the studio full of dancers with con- contrasting personalities is a challenge in of itself. However, in my experience, enduring the realities of working in a team ultimately changed me for the better. One becomes well rounded and exposed to what it's like to work under pressure. Therefore, how you rise above these challenges is critical. This is your chance to prove yourself not only to your director, but also to the studio owner, both likely to have a solid network of clients they work with, and hard work rarely goes unnoticed. Being an A player in a dance troupe is a great way to exhibit professionalism and drive, making you more likely to be the one they contact to fill a booking. Join a talent agency. Much like a dance companies, most talent agencies require an audition and or track record of professionalism to get in. However, they are different in that they focus more on booking the solo artist at gigs for a percentage of the profit. Agencies are a good option for dancers with a little to no network. Since booking talent is their primary revenue source, agencies has their own pool of clients and constantly make sale efforts to grow this clientele. This translates to more gig opportunities for you. There are different types of talent firms out there and none of them are quite equal. Some agencies exclusively offer dance entertainment ranging from ballet, belly dance, jazz, etc. Certain talent firms offer limitless types of variety acts, MC, promo modeling, singing, dance, etc. Contrastly, there are even agencies that specialize mainly in belly dance entertainment. In fact, some belly dance studios with professional dance companies simultaneously run these types of agencies as well. When looking for talent firms to join, make sure you do your research. A major pro to joining any of these agency types is that the guesswork is done for you. In addition to finding clientele, they handle the other administrative duties such as phone and email correspondence, performers, insurance coverage, and money handling. However, one must consider the possible downsides too and how to better make a prepared decision. Most reputable entertainment firms require you to sign a contract. It is okay to read the agreement twice and take it home if you have to before signing it. Some companies have strict non before signing it. Some companies have strict non-compete clauses and others don't have one at all. It is normal for agencies to take a percentage of what you make per gig. This is called a booking fee, an agency fee. Some agencies' booking fee are higher than others, so it is important to assess the amount you're comfortable with. Find out the average booking fee of agencies in your area. A larger than average agency fee could be possible red flag. When in doubt, do your research. There are scam companies masked as talent agencies that prey on artists seeking work. There are also legitimate company agencies that simply have a poor track record of finding work for their talent or even paying them. The internet is a useful tool, and so is word of mouth. Be wary if a company has constant negative reviews. It is okay to walk away from an opportunity if something doesn't feel right. As professionals, we are sometimes led to make hard decisions to protect our business. I've seen talent firm scams and have also witnessed poorly run entertainment companies. However, I've also been involved with several legitimate talent agencies that have led to many awesome opportunities. It's all about staying informed, avoiding illegitimate businesses, and finding the right reputable agency for you. If you live in a metropolitan area, there are likely several. Join an entertainment services booking platform. Upon discovering my dad was terminally ill, I didn't think twice to leave everything behind and to be with him during his final days in my hometown. That also meant leaving behind my belly dance troupe and talent agency as well. Although I had a strong network in the city I built my profession in, the town I would soon transition to was a different story. I moved to my hometown knowing almost no one in the belly dance community. At the time, there was no belly dance agency I knew of in the area, and I had no idea where or how to get work. I felt like a beginner all over again. That was until I had a pivotal phone call with a belly dance instructor to whom I look up to this day. She suggested I make a profile on an event service site. Platforms such as Gig Salad and The Bash, formerly known as Gig Masters, are internet marketplaces that connect performers of all kind with everyday people seeking entertainment for events. Up until that conversation with my instructor, I had no inkling that something like that existed. Although I am sure that there are dozens of these types of platforms on the web, I registered for the two I previously mentioned. Through these sites, I got booked for numerous events, leading to me growing my client network, reputation, exposure to other dancers in the community, and eventually independent booking outside of the website. Joining an entertainment service platform gives you more autonomy than talent agencies or dance studio opportunities in that you have direct and independent communication with your lead from start to finish. You make your own profile with photos and videos, can set up your description however you see fit, and have control of your location preferences. When an event planner needs a specific type of entertainer for an event, they can send out a general inquiry that notifies all entertainers of that variety in that area. They also have the option to sift through the many artist profiles and contact the entertainer they want directly. The talent would then either have the choice of responding with the compensation requirements based on the details provided or rejecting the gig. After that, it's ultimately up to the planner to confirm the booking. Much like talent agencies, however, these websites also take a percentage of what you make as a booking fee. In addition to the booking fee, a paid membership is also required to have an active profile on the platform. This is something one should think about when considering this option. Joining the aforementioned websites jump-started my ability to get profitable work as a belly dancer in a town where it would have otherwise taken a lot more time and investments to do so. Set your price, page 33. Determining the value of your entertainment services when you're just starting can be an intimidating process. When I commenced my belly dance career, I was in constant conflict with myself regarding price. I didn't want to set my rate too high because I had little gigging experience and was hungry for work. However, I also didn't want to set my price too low because then I wouldn't profit. After years of involvement with the belly dance community, gigging experience, and exposure to the entertainment industry as a whole, I've learned the important factors regarding setting your price that must be taken into account. Know the average dancer rate in your area and avoid undercutting. Undercutting or offering services at the low price than competitors with the intent of snagging the gig is a big problem in the belly dance industry because it devalues us in the eyes of everyday person. When a dancer offers their performances to a restaurant or event planner for extremely low rates or sometimes even free in exchange for exposure, it teaches these people to expect less. Think of the popular saying, why buy the cow when you can get it for free? From a buyer's perspective, it makes little sense to pay hundreds of dollars on an entertainer when less experienced dancers are willing to perform for free or half the price. Truth is, Oriental dance artists who are serious about their craft spend thousands of dollars in their lifetime on professional costumes, stage grade makeup, and dance lessons, not to mention years of hard work to get where they are today. Sadly, undercutting cannot be completely eliminated from our industry, but by pricing your rates within the average range of your competitors, you will be contributing to reteaching the everyday person to respect this art form and value it. Finding out the industry's standard is relatively easy. However, each city may vary slightly in average rates based on dancer supply and demand. For example, the average rate of a 30-minute belly dance show in Orlando, Florida, will probably differ from that of a show in Manhattan, New York. Most metropolitan areas have private Facebook groups with names such as Belly Dancers of Insert Metro here that you can join. See what other dancers in your area are charging by either going to their website or asking them directly. Since undercutting is a pervasive problem in our industry, the belly dance community is vocal about standard prices and sharing what they can if it means prevention of such lowballing. Know your worth. Once you're familiar with the standard price range in your city, it's now time to assess where you want to be on the scale based on your skills and experience. When I first began, my rate was on the lower end of the spectrum, and now it's on the higher end. After gaining experience, improving my craft, and getting more booking requests, I knew when it was time to increase my rates. Determining the starting rate for your shows is a personal decision, regardless of how low or how high it is. As long as it is within the range rate of other professional belly dancers, it is a valued price. Communicating your rate can also be an intimidating process, especially if you're new and want nothing more than to be booked and gain that experience. When a potential client requests your rates to perform, it may be tempting to lower your price just this one time for the sake of getting chosen as the one to be booked. This is an understandable mindset to have, but also detrimental to your short term profile and your long term perceived value. The mindset of thinking that gigs choose us puts us in a vulnerable spot as artists, which is exactly what cheap clients want. However, the moment we switch to we choose the gigs mindset, we reclaim our power as performers and the only value the clients who value us. Trust me, there are many clients who do. By stating your non discounted rate to a lead. You place the ball in their court to either show value to your art by accepting your price or exhibit that they aren't worth your time as a client in the first place. Negotiation is another situation one may often encounter in their career as a belly dancer. Once you mention your rate, a lead may ask if you can go lower for various reasons. While a potential client try to negotiate a lower price for our hard work can be annoying, I use the opportunity to create a perceived value for them. Potential clients are often just everyday people looking to save money while bringing entertainment to their guests. By answering their inquiries in a patient and informative way, we can educate them on our value as an individual dancer. Here are examples of generic responses to some of the most popular client attempts to negotiate. But I know a dancer who charges less. My response: the rate I charge reflects my experience, years of training, and investment in quality attire, makeup, and props. You may find cheaper options out there, but similar quality is not guaranteed, and most dancers with similar experience charge a similar amount. For this reason, my rate is firm. If you would like to move forward in booking me at my rate, I'd be glad to perform. If not, I understand and I wish you luck in your search. Another one: I can offer pay, but I promise that my event is high profile and you will gain lots of exposure and or great tips. My response: this is my profession and the amount I charge for my service is insert rate here. Should anything change and you're able to compensate me at that rate, feel free to contact me. My budget is insert lower price here. Is there any way you can fit into my budget? My response: I understand your budget is insert lower price here. However, I am unable to lower my price rate. As a business, it would be unethical to charge less to one person for the same service that I've charged many others at a higher price for. For this reason, and to maintain the integrity of my business, my rate is firm across the board. Should your budget change, you'd like to book my services, feel free to contact me. No, thank you. This is too expensive. My response: I understand your concern with my rate. Good luck with your search, and should anything change, feel free to contact me. While each response is slightly different depending on the question, the general feel of the replies remain the same. As you can see, these responses are conscious, show empathy to lead's situation, leave the ball in their court, and most importantly, they show that you are not afraid to walk away. In any business deal, the entity that gets the shorter end of the stick is often one who was afraid to walk away during negotiation. When one is comfortable with leaving despite an offer being set on the table, it shows the offerer two things: that this person has other options and that they won't settle for less, both of which increases the offeree's perceived value. High value products attract high value customers. This also applies to artists and their entertainment services. By responding to undervaluing inquiries with class, understanding, and freedom of outcome, you exemplify yourself as a high value belly dancer, artist, and business person. It is important to know your worth and express it professionally. There will be many clients who won't see value in booking you regardless of what you do. Let go of this type of client and focus on the clients who see your worth.
Drinking warm water before bed rebuilds damaged teeth and gums overnight. People are healing decay and reversing gum.
What happened, but we got to be careful for that institutionalizing to shut doors for anyone whose body moves a little different. Is it wrong because it moves when I say that word, I have a little different accent than, you see what I'm saying? So if a person from Africa learns a language, they're always gonna have a little bit of that accent there probably when they say the language. It's not that they're not saying it, but they're saying it with a little different accent. And so is it wrong? Is it right or wrong? I don't know. I believe with language is that, which I believe dance is, I think it evolves, like we talked about. As long as we remember what it is, we don't change what it is. But I believe it can have, it has evolved. What it is today was an evolution of what it was originally. So now we're deciding we're not going to let it to evolve anymore. You know what I mean? So my whole point is that if you're going to teach belly dance, which I don't want to teach it per se. I do want to teach enough for people to be able to unlock their joy. That's about it. And I'm a professional dancer. But if you're going to teach anything, especially dance or anything that has to do with God giving the gifts, you got to keep that opening air for, did you do the movement right? But when you do it, your body just says it a little different than my body. Where can the teacher see that? And where is that okay? Because I'm not West Indian, but people think I am because I basically dance just like I am from there. But because my best friends in college were and I learned so much. But there's a way that the Caribbean dance moves where you actually bend your shoulders down and do this. Is that wrong? As long as I tell you that, you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? But if I do it this way, so it's like when I go up, how do I do it a little different from the way you do it? But is it wrong? Or is it the way God made me do it? So as a teacher, it's a very fine line for you to know, when do I tell her she's wrong? And when do I say, you're right, but wow, when you do it, never seen it done like that. You know what I'm saying? So I think as long as teachers are and I was a teacher, I taught Spanish, and I'm just a teacher. And it's important not to break the spirit of the person just because you've never seen it before. And if you're going to include more African-American people, you're going to see moves that you've never seen before. You can see body shapes that she's a slim girl, but she's got this body that's different. And the way she's bringing in something that's a little slightly different from what she's doing. And yeah, she's hitting it, but why is it so different? Is it wrong? And that's where the teachers can help allow what might come in when you bring more African-American people or people, it's going to shift it a little. It's going to be a little something, but is it wrong? That's the thing. And that's what I've decided to be a part of. But there's a balance. And I'd love to hear how you, moving forward, and you've already done it, how do you balance that? This is correct. But when you did that correctly, you still brought us something different. Like, how do you address that? Like, you know what I mean? So that's what would matter to me. And so the institution can actually be a place where we can be segregated and we can create things that are only in America, like the Zills and like all these, like those things, and use that, not necessarily a good teacher, but it can be used, and it has been used, to say, these are the good dancers, these are the bad dancers, these are the ones I'm going to allow to go in the restaurants, these are not. And how can we open doors for more African-American people? Well, don't measure dancing based on props and on these technical things, but base it on their creative abilities to communicate through their dance. Give them tools to be themselves, and let's see what that is. Now let's find out what that is. That's not pure classical dance, but let's see what that is, because it's beautiful. What can we do with that? Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah, you brought up like 100 different things I could respond to. I'm like, wow,
I know.
Journey.
Is that okay? I didn't.
No.
Okay.
This is, I mean, because
these are the thoughts.
This is your thought process, exactly. And so this is it. Like, it's interesting to see how one thought ties to the next. And so I can just recall the few. I was like, okay. So going back, like, I think there's a couple of really good things that I think instructors can pull from this, talking about different bodies in your classroom. And this is something that has always been a part of my classroom. And a lot of classrooms that I've gone into, but some other classes, not so much, that even regardless of race, you get a lot of bodies in your classroom. I am blessed to have a huge variety of bodies in my classroom, between ages and weights and heights, and just everyone looks different. And so because of that, the dance is going to look different on each person.
Right.
And I love that. And I always try to let my students know that it's okay, because people will say, oh, I keep doing it, but I don't look like you. And I'm like, no, of course you don't look like me. You're not me. Like, you're going to look like you. I learned this dance from a woman who's older, who looks nothing like me. She's like 5 inches taller than me and has got hips for days. And what she did, it didn't look the same on me. And luckily for me, I never felt self-conscious about that. I never felt that I was perhaps doing things incorrectly because it didn't look right. I was happy with how it looked on me. So I was like, I'll do it my way. And she never stopped me and said, oh, no, it should look like the way I do it. Right. Yeah. So I think this is huge, just understanding that.
Try this unusual 5-second squeeze method to restore healthy blood sugar levels. Most people
in this dance form, I don't believe we should strive for everybody to look exactly the same. Now, there are certain troops out there that are like incredible. I call it drill team belly dance. They do some amazing like precision. They are the Rockettes of belly dance. And if that's their thing, I think they have the right to be like, okay, we need everybody to
whatever
5'6" and be able to shimmy at least 160 beats per minute. I don't know, whatever it is, if that's what they're going for, right? And then that, okay, great, that's not for me.
Exactly.
But I feel like definitely letting students understand that. And then you're right that obviously when we start talking about different ethnicities that are built differently, this is going to be something that we as instructors continue to see in the classroom. And I think it's very important. I always tell my students, like, as long as you're not doing something that's going to injure your body or is culturally inappropriate within the dance, I can tell if you're doing it right, if you're doing the move. Now, I also, one thing that I love as a student when I go and study is studying with someone who does the move really differently than I do. And I'm like, wow, this is weird and it doesn't feel quite right on me. I love trying to figure out how they do it. I'm like, let me do it your way while I'm in your classroom. And maybe it gets integrated into my vocabulary, maybe it doesn't, but I'm stretching and I'm learning and I'm trying to do things the way that you as the instructor are telling me to do. And I enjoy that challenge, right? I enjoy that. And so I love to learn it, the right way, which is their right way, whatever the classroom I'm in at that point in time has.
Yeah, dancers, when we go to each other's classes, we're supposed to give that instructor a chance to teach us.
Right. And so, show me the way you do it and let me learn it. I even love learning other people's choreographies. I'm like, I would have never put those moves together like that. This is so interesting. And I learned so much from that process. So I think that is really important, to understand that learning the right way, learning the technique and whatnot is definitely important, no matter how you come at the dance, whether you're coming at it from a natural place or coming at it from I want to get in and learn it. And then even like you said, not using the certain lines or the look that you're looking for, regardless of who's come into your classroom, to shut anyone down, to say, well, it doesn't look right on you, so maybe you shouldn't be doing this like that. That's never okay, especially since I would say 99.5% of the people that come into my classroom don't want to go perform at the restaurant. They don't want to go perform at the big event or the cultural festival. They're there to have fun. They're there to express themselves. They're there to, find a creative outlet. They're there to sweat a bit, maybe lose a little bit of weight or just have a good time. And so I'm going to do nothing to stand in the way of that happening. But it's true that like when things become a bit more institutionalized, what do we gain? Right, by belly dance now being kind of a recognized thing. There's festivals everywhere. There's classes on every corner. Like it's a thing that people search out. You can find it online. Like it's gaining respect. But what do you lose? And I feel like what we lose very much depends on who the leaders are in the industry. What are they supporting and what are they promoting? Right, which is where we need to be really careful. And so talking about, since I just mentioned kind of the idea of so many people who walk into my classroom are just walking, they're there for fun. They have no, they're going to do my student showcase. They're going to be super excited about it, but they're not looking to go pro and get paid to do this. And so there's definitely a divide, as you've experienced, between like I just want to have fun and dance at the Hafla this weekend, and I would like to get hired to dance at a wedding here in town. And this is, I think, where I finally understood my misunderstanding of the inclusivity of the belly dance world. I feel like for the most part, and I know that it's not where it needs to be, if you want to just come to a class and have a good time, you can probably, definitely here in Houston, there are plenty of places, no matter who you are, you're going to find your home.
Yeah.
Right now, I understand that sometimes it's less comfortable for people to walk into a space where they do not see their own person reflected back to them. They're like, I do not see other people who look like me. I do not see a large percentage of African Americans. I do have, several in my class, which makes me very grateful to know that they feel comfortable in my classroom. That's very important to me. But regardless of, looking at another step past that is, are the instructors being supportive and being open? And I think you can certainly find that in the belly dance community. But now if we take it, down the road and someone wants to go pro, somebody wants to go to the restaurant, somebody wants to dance at the cultural event, or they want to dance at the wedding or the corporate event, this is where I think a lot of the discrimination happens. This is where a lot of the racism occurs in lots of different directions, right? Against African Americans. I've seen it happen here against American, very pale, white, redheaded dancers. I've seen it against Asian dancers in my troupe. I've seen it, all over the place. And I guess, so my question, like I always like to ask.
We like to decide things for ourselves around here, but Proposition 132 ends majority rule.
I'd like to recommend
go from here. What are the concrete actions that myself as a teacher, myself as a promoter of belly dance to the world in general can do to help fight, to be actively anti-racist and to help pull more people into the fold, to invite them to this gigantic party we've got going on over here, right? I want everyone to know how amazing it is. And it's almost on two levels, right? It's almost on two levels. So I don't know, I know you've done both, right? Like, so you've been there as a student and you've been there as a pro. So I guess maybe if we could just talk about, what do you see as positive ways that we can affect change in those two realms? Because I feel like maybe those two realms are treated slightly differently, or maybe they're not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's just a general mind shift that needs to happen that will affect it all. What is your take on that?
Well, thank you for asking. And once again, you're just amazing for doing this, but for being open. Because I came in such an unusual place where I was already a professional dancer, and this is something God told me to do, my confidence was in the Lord. So that's the first thing. And my confidence was in this fact that I knew I was an amazing dancer, not because I made myself, because the Lord has given me that. I've been taking classes, so I had that confidence going in. And so any place you put me, I'm going to step out and I'm going to be confident. The other thing is, so I have that piece. So that person who's coming into it, the African-American woman, or, she's coming in this, know what you have first. Make sure this is where you need to be. If you're going to be professional, the rules are the same with dance. If I could talk like a mom right now, the rules are the same with dance as it is with singing, acting, drawing. If you really don't have that, then you need to keep it real. This is not for you. You should stay as, but if you know that this is a gift and your teacher has told you and you feel and the Lord has showed you, you are gifted. You need to fight to the end to do what you were put on this earth to do. And so that's the first step. Your confidence needs to be in your true talent. I don't believe everyone can do everything. And in my lifetime, being the age that I am, I've seen performing arts shift in that way. I don't know if you've seen it. And it's really frustrating as a real actress and a real dancer to see everyone wants to be an actor. Everybody's a dancer. Everybody, all I got to do is put some skills together. And no, there are some people that actually have a gift in it. And sure, if you want to do it and you can do it, that's fine. But I believe there are people with true gifts. They really have a gift in something. And then if they add the training with it, you are amazing. So while everyone should take classes, everyone should try and find out if that's their thing, be real with yourself starting off. Is this really for me? And if it is, because if it isn't, You got a gift somewhere else that you're reneging on, that you would have soared, and you're in somebody else's gifting that you're going to struggle. So right off the bat, I do believe people should stay in their calling like I did, because doors will open for you. So that's the first thing. Make sure this is really for you. Then you fight for it, and you stay in there and you fight for it. And the next thing I would say is find out, we talked about this and we'll go into it a little more, what kind of belly dancer are you? Because it's okay to carve out your space or to join, to be who you are. And if we're going to bring in more cultures, you may have to just find what that is. And I want to talk to you more about that as a teacher. But the next thing is, I'm full of ideas. Right now, everyone, this is more practical for you as a teacher, and to answer your question. We have platforms now. Everyone's online. How do we change things? If we were not going through COVID-19, I would say, do a performance with an African-American woman that you think is amazing, and use your platform to do a duet with her. Use your platform to get her on there. You say, well, I'm going to come to I want to do something special this week with the restaurant, and I want to introduce you to this amazing dancer I have. I'm going to come this week with her. So I'm going to make sure everything's fine. So they can't lie and say she didn't do a good job, because you'll be there. You know what I mean? Introduce this beautiful, amazing dancer yourself. If you know what I mean? Be that change in that way. So in other words, let's say the restaurant is saying, because if we go back to to regular life ever, and we are doing that again, God, answering your question the way life used to be, I would say, do the festival with her, do a duet, and then she goes out, you let her use yourself like you're doing with me, and then step back and let everyone see her. That's confidence. Teachers have to be confident. My mother was a teacher. She taught me that. She said when she taught English classes, she said sometimes I'd have this brilliant child that was like smarter than me, but my confidence came in letting them be that. I had to let them. That they're not going to take my degrees away. Isn't that what I want? Isn't that the whole point? We're facilitators. We don't tell them what they are. We facilitate them to be what God made them to be. So teachers need to know that. They need to not go into these jobs. I'm not going to go into this conversation about policemen, but similar to that, with much is given, much is required. Like a good policeman knows he has this authority to actually serve like Jesus serves. Jesus, if we believe he's God, he could have killed everybody who treated him wrong, but he had power, and what he did was he used it to serve and to love. So as teachers, we have a power. You can say something that can make her never want to dance again, but with that power comes responsibility, and you can use that to introduce her to things. So maybe once a quarter as a teacher, you say, I'm going to sponsor one dancer. Let's say we're back into the normal world and we answer that question that way. And I'm going to take her to a restaurant with me, so they can't tell me what she did because I was there. And I'm going to say, listen, I'm going to dance with her today. Okay, I'm going to come and I'm going to do it. And I want to introduce you to this beautiful dancer, and I'm going to package her, tell you what she can do, and she's going to make sure she delivers it, and she delivers it. And you're going to teach them.
This simple 30-second method reverses memory loss for good.
The girl with the red hair. Pick someone that you feel, I'm going to carry you right now. Mm-hmm. Harriet Tubman, she couldn't have done that without a white face up above. Somebody up there had to lie to hide us downstairs, down in the underground. So it's like she had allies. So they had to literally get themselves in the trenches to bless. And then it's not going to go on forever, because you're going to make that, you're vetting them. You're giving them the seal of approval. And then at one point you won't have to do it anymore, because she came with you. So that's one answer. A festival, creating a festival, saying, I'm going to do a duet with this late girl that I think is amazing. They won't go with her by herself, but if she's with you, artists do that, singers do that. They put people on there, they collab, they bring a new artist in. And we don't care about the new artist, but because he's singing with Justin Bieber, now I know that new artist, and now I like that. He approved that person. You see what I'm saying? So you really get in the trenches, really actually hold her hand, and actually go to that restaurant with her and say, that's okay. I want to try something different. I want to just introduce you to something really special. She's amazing. I will come personally and we'll dance together. Why would they say no to you? A festival, you do a duet, and then she does one by herself. That's another way to do it. You know what I'm saying? Do things, and you won't have to do it forever, but you will be known for that one that did that.
No, I love that. It's so practical, and it's easy. It's very easy. Yeah.
And then you can keep on doing it the way you want to do it after that, and have the conversations with them, teaching them that in America we have to be open-minded. We talked about that, and we can't discriminate. I know that you want this, but sometimes I'm going to have to. There's this thing with they're hiring you to give them someone that fits their thing. So I know how that works. The other thing is what's going on today. I don't think we've leaked into today. Look what we're doing. You just did it. You're using your platform. We were thinking of doing something together as a dance here. We can use platforms like this. You can actually connect with bigger platforms and say, I have a duet I want to do. Or I'm doing something and she's doing something, and then I'm going to do something separate. Like, you still promote yourself. You don't want to like only, but you can actually right now, you can put together a virtual festival or a concert, and you can make sure that person's up there and give them that moment where it's like, see, a lot of times they never got a chance to see it. Another analogy is I was a Mary Kay consultant, and I noticed that until I put the makeup on their faces, they said, no, Mary Kay, that old stuff, that Mary Kay, being in Texas. And until I put it on their faces, they were like, it's an experience. And they're like, I love this stuff. And my classes were like that. They'd be like, oh, it's just like Zumba. I'm like, no, it's different. I promise. They would come in and fall in love with it. It's one of those things where people, you can't tell them. They have to experience. So if you ever have found a dancer, if you do get one that you think is just like, oh gosh, people have got to see her, don't send her by herself. Latch her onto somebody who already has a following. Now people will give her a chance, and now they're like, oh snap, she is pretty. She is amazing. I think I'm going to keep her name for, she doesn't fit this, but she might fit this. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And so think of yourself as Justin Bieber and say, what would I do if I was Justin Bieber?
What I would do for Justin Bieber.
Exactly. And so that's my, I'm a problem solver. So this is my advice to anyone out there who's honestly wanting to do this and not just saying it, but you really are wanting to. And if there's someone who listens who's truly wanting to and isn't insecure in their abilities, like my mom was saying, I can't be insecure as a teacher. I got to let them. You're always going to be remembered as the one that gave her that chance. She'll never forget that. And no one's ever going to forget that. So, so you can, what I'm saying? And one more thing, if anyone's afraid, because I think that's what the problem with this institutionalizing the privilege and all that, a lot of the hate is coming from someone who's afraid of losing that privilege. That's where it's coming from, and all the different. We all have we have fingerprints. No, there's no other Sahara. There's nobody like you. No one could ever be you, ever. And I don't care if you do the hip drops a million times. I'm never going to do it exactly the same as you. I'm not going to give the same energy as you. No one's going to ever be Patrice. I don't care how much you try to be me. I've taught so many people that, haven't you noticed with your students? They're doing it there. So don't ever be afraid. God made you uniquely teacher and student. And no matter how great your student is, there's only one you. And you were the blessing to that person that made them. So if they get big, you are always attached to them being big. Do you see what I'm saying? So look at it differently. Don't look at it like, but then she's going to be better than me and she's better than. No, she's not. She's just got her calling. She's just got her gifting that's going to be used. And you've got your gifting. And it's just, you got to let each other share the space. And I would say to all privilege is don't worry about privilege and all that, because there's pretty privilege. I've had pretty privilege. And so what do I do with women in my class that are like, no, you're prettier than me? And I'm like, no, you're beautiful in your own way. Like, I want to share the space, and I think that's what you're doing, and I think that's the answer. If you want to get over this privilege thing that you think people are saying you have, or you didn't know you had, you just kind of inherited, and it's not even your fault, and what do I do with it? Well, use it to show people that I want to share the space. That's all. You're never going to lose who you are.
No, it's coming from a place of abundance, right? That there's enough for everyone. There really is in this big wide world. And so, absolutely. There should be no fear on the part of teachers that they're going to give away too much when it comes to their students, right?
There's only one you. Exactly.
Absolutely. Great. So I love this advice to teachers, right? And how to make your classroom more inclusive and more aware of all the bodies and all the people and where they're coming from. Would you have any advice to people who are, sort of following, I don't know if anyone's going to follow in your exact footsteps because your story is so unique, but for other African-American women who are maybe looking at belly dance and saying, oh no, I don't think that's for me for whatever reason. Any advice to them?
Well, first of all, I've had a lot of them come to me when I would perform. And they're like, I've never seen myself. So just know that if you're thinking about it, we do need to be out there on higher platforms, because there's a need, there's a heart. When you do the parties, you're going to always hear someone say, oh my goodness, I've never seen someone that looked like me. And that's why I keep my natural hair and I'm just me. And you know what you're going to get when I get there, the Caribbean fusion, because she's probably a Black woman, So I would say be true to yourself. That's what I would say. And I'm glad you asked that question, because on the other side, as the student, providing that you really know that this is the thing God has put in your heart to do, and this is truly your thing, and God is going to see you through. That's what I do believe. That on my channel, I talk a lot about women and their ministry to uplift them to stay in their calling. That's where all the blessings are. That's probably how you knew. It's like, I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Make sure that's it. That's intact. Don't just do it because you like it. If you're going to go professional, go in because you know this is yours. This is really for you. And work. Do the work. And when you're doing the work, if you're not like me, because I have a unique story, and you're in a classroom with a wonderful teacher like Sarah, and you've gotten that teacher that's amazing, stick with that teacher. Get that feedback. Get that feedback from your peers. They say peers give grade. And if they're starting to repeat something you're really good at.
Carrie Lake, she's an election denier. Arizona has lots of problems.
Model that up, teacher and student can use this together, and start to get stronger in that, because that's probably who you are. And when you find out who you are, go to the end with it. Become a master at it. Get the clothing. Get your act together. You know what you're good at, so that you can deliver. I'm about write a check you can cash. If you say you're going to do it, deliver it, and deliver it well. Would you agree? Are you
Absolutely.
in that?
No, that's definitely important. You've got to walk your talk, right?
And she's going to, and if you have somebody, so in other words, we're talking about getting professional. If someone's going to be putting you out there and they're going to put their name on the line, you have got to deliver. So stay in those classes knowing what you're good at, know your strength, and master it. And then come and say, I know, I'm good at this. You hear me? They always tell me, I'm ready. All right. If you're ready, deliver. I would say deliver. And when you deliver, no one can complain about what you look like when you deliver. Deliver and do things for your family. Do things for friends. Start to tell your community. You don't need permission to get a party from a family member, or to do your own little festival, or to do things like that. And if you have a wonderful teacher, she can create situations where maybe there's a classroom showcase, or I don't know, but get creative so that you can start getting your buzz out there of what you're good at. Deliver. And when you deliver, everybody broke all of our ancestors have broke through things because their talents were so amazing. If you deliver, they have to accept everything that comes with it. That's what I would say. Deliver. Don't come in there with like not that great at what